Lovely to be here. Thank you for the introduction, Matt. And I want to acknowledge, of course, we've got our International President, Kenny Cooper, Secretary Treasurer, Paul Noble, 6th District International Vice President, Clemens, and I saw Sean McGarvey wandering the halls afterwards, or beforehand, and of course, all my Michigan locals. Where are my Michigan people? Somewhere in there? Thank you. Hi, guys. Good to see you. Quiet as ever. I'm Elissa Slotkin, the newest senator for the state of Michigan, and you heard my background. I live on my family farm in Holly, Michigan, but I am what's called a 9/11 baby, which means I happened to be in New York City on my second day of graduate school when 9/11 happened, and it completely changed my life. I got recruited by the CIA right out of grad school, and within my first year I was at the CIA. I was sent on my first of 3 tours in Iraq. So my life was completely in the national security world until I decided to run in 2018. When I decided to run, one of the very first groups that I was desperate to get in the room with was IBEW. And one of the proudest moments of my life was when I got the early endorsement from IBEW as a new candidate in a very red district trying to flip it from red to blue. You have been some of my strongest supporters, and I just want to tell you, as someone who comes from a very different world than yours, loyalty really matters to me, and you all have been loyal, and I will be loyal right on back. So, now, we know that as union members, you all embody some of the core values that we expect of Americans. Hard work, fairness, and equality. Those Michiganders know we believe in grit, right? And then putting your head down and just getting done. We need more of that in America, that practical outlook, and that's why I was so happy to be here today, because when I got to Washington last year as a senator, I looked around, and there's a lot of people, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, who will talk the talk about supporting unions, but will not walk the walk. And I wanted to have the opportunity to talk a little bit about where we are in the country right now, how we're going to get through this, and then the specific role I see the building trades playing in it. Okay, so where are we right now? I just want to tell you that as a former CIA officer, I do not think the most existential threat to the United States is coming from abroad. It's not Russia, it's not Iran, it's not Al-Qaeda. The most existential threat to the United States of America today is the shrinking middle class. That is the issue. I would go on to say we are in a full-throated middle-class emergency, and we need to treat it that way. The very basic idea that you work 40 hours, keep your head down, keep out of trouble, and you should do well and your kids do better, that is at risk. And let me tell you, that is the issue that unites a recent college graduate who can't afford their own apartment and the IBEW worker who is working and just trying to have the same life that his dad have that fishing cabin up north. And what happens in America if you work 40 hours a week and you can't get ahead? Well, you feel shame, you feel anger, you feel frustration, and you look for someone or something to blame. And in a country like ours, where we come from all kinds of backgrounds, people look for someone who doesn't look like them or talk like them or pray like them to blame. So it is a physical, like homeland security problem when we have a shrinking middle class. So how do we get out of that? How do we figure out what we're aiming towards and like have some vision for where we're going? And, you know, on the military side, you cannot make a credible plan unless you know what your goals are. So I think here is what I believe our goals should be. You know, the news every day is like throwing stuff at us. We got to take a step back. Here's what I think we're aiming towards. One job with good benefits where you can save money every month, major bonus points if that's a union job. You can buy a home you can afford, where you can raise your family and build equity. Your kids can go to a good public school that trains them for the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past. You can have good health care where you don't go bankrupt when you get sick. And you live in a country that has one set of democratic rules where no one person and no one team can abuse the system. This is not radical. This is not rocket science. This is the most American thing I can think of. But right now, the truth is, given this emergency we're in, those things are not a given for our kids and grandkids. So what are we thinking about it? How do we get there? Well, both parties have failed, okay? Both political parties have failed to take this emergency and treat it the way it needs to be treated. I'll take President Trump first. I often say he has the wrong answer to the right question. He figures out what people really care about, but then sometimes his solutions are just bonkers. He ran in the election on cost of living, and Democrats whiffed on that, right? He told people he was going to change their cost of living, he was going to make it cheaper to exist in America, and Democrats couldn't figure out what they were going to talk about. They prioritized everything, so they prioritized nothing, and people didn't know what they were fighting for. But his central thesis was that he was going to bring down your cost of living in all these categories. Is there anyone out there who can say today that he has brought down your cost of living in any major category? Just objectively, just objectively. Instead, we have to sort of acknowledge it. President Trump has become a foreign policy president. He has taken military action in 9 places in the world in his first 14 months, more than any single president in US history. He has been spending his time thinking and talking and working on those issues and forgotten the very domestic economic issues that he promised he was going to fix. He declared an energy emergency, and for IBEW, this is great. This sounds good. But then he went about killing all the clean energy projects that you were in the middle of building. And let me just say, let's just agree that the amount of power we're going to need in the future, right? We need the whole Chinese menu of energy. We need the old stuff, we need the new stuff. We shouldn't be picking and choosing. We shouldn't be picking and choosing, well, this energy is bad and this energy is woke, and we need it all. We need it all on the grid. Instead of making your healthcare cheaper, he's cut healthcare across the country, and he has zero plan on how to lower costs. And by the way, in order to he cut that healthcare because he wanted to have tax cuts for the very rich. He is literally investing in trickle-down economics, and is there a single person in America who believes that trickle-down economics actually works? So, no, thank you for the one guy who said no. Thank you, no. And then let me just say, on organized labor, he's gutted the NLRB, gutted it, and he's put into his cabinet people who are proudly anti-labor. If you want to understand where Donald Trump actually is on organized labor, not what he said in his campaign, but where he is, all you need to look to is the new brand spanking new East Wing that he's building on the side of the White House. Is it being built with organized labor? No. And guess what? The steel is frickin' foreign. So if you want to understand what he's doing in his own house, it is not supportive of labor or made in America products. So he's doing all of this while trying to enrich himself, right? His sons have made over $1 billion with their cryptocurrency. He's pardoning his cronies. He's milking the cow that is America, all while middle-class Americans are losing their livelihood. But look, I believe in calling balls and strikes, right? The Democrats have things to account for here big time. My party has made real mistakes. We took our eye off the ball, as I said, and just didn't understand the issues that were core to a majority of Americans, and that's the economy. We tried to focus on everything, every social issue, every injustice, but again, by focusing on everything, we prioritized nothing. We also got way too comfortable regulating and over-regulating things, okay? I say that openly. You guys know that better than anybody. We need to streamline regulations so that we can build in America at speed and at scale. And that's not just about jobs. That's not just about jobs. If we want to be the leaders, the international leaders of the future, and not have China be the world's superpower, that we need to streamline regulation to be able to build in this country quickly. So, where do we go from here? Okay, we talked about what we want. We talked about how both parties have problems. We need to treat the middle class emergency as an actual emergency, declare it an emergency, and mobilize towards that threat. I came from a world of national security, from the Pentagon and the CIA. We understand mobilizing to a threat. If Al-Qaeda is taking down planes and attacking the United States of America, and we don't have enough people looking at that problem and fighting that problem, we got to reorganize to that threat. It's exactly what I'm proposing with the threat and the emergency to the middle class. First, we need to be aggressive and we need to be bold. Bring some of that alpha energy to this fight, not just for fights abroad. On housing, we're down 4 million units of housing. You want to know why you can't afford a new house or a bigger house? It's because we have a fundamental supply and demand problem. Until we build that 4 million units of housing, we need to declare a housing emergency. On healthcare, I will say it. We need a radical reorganization. We need a new national insurance plan for anyone at any age so that you can opt in and buy into a program and not have to worry that you stay in a shitty job because you need your health insurance, that, by the way, is too expensive. On the economy, this is where you guys really come in. We know that we need 3 major things in order to compete in the economy that is upon us, and that's people, chips, and power. Those are the things. Again, not rocket science. On people, we need good public schools and we need training for our people for the jobs of the future. We need to start getting people thinking about what I call the K through 12 plus 2. You got to do high school plus 2 years of something, right? And it can be a certification program, an apprenticeship program that you all do so well. It can be an associate's degree. That extra bit of training is going to set you up for a lifetime of good middle class and beyond work. On chips, chips are in everything we use. You all have chips in your pocket right now, and we are often at the behest of China on those chips. I want those chips made here in America, and I want Americans making those things that are vital in every single product that we buy, with union labor. And on power, obviously, this is one we were talking about it backstage. We can't do anything we want to do as an economy and as a country without doing major, major changes to our grid. Our power grid is a national security asset. We need to think about it that way. It literally powers our economy. It's old, it's outdated. Consumers are literally paying the price. You all know that, not only as someone who works on that grid, but then pays the prices for your bills. So I want to push something I'm calling the Great American Grid Build-Out. Just $100 billion for 100 gigawatts of power over the next 15 years, and just put our money into it. And if someone tells you, holy crap, that sounds like a lot of money, it is a lot of money. But I use the $100 billion number because it's the same amount of money that President Trump is coming back to Congress to ask for to pay for this Iran war. How you spend your money is a signal of your priorities. If the grid is a national security priority, we can put the money into it that is going elsewhere right now. So we need to mobilize. We need to face the imminent threat to the middle class. Look, you all know this, you live this, that our country is going through something right now. We are not at our best. No one turns on the TV and sees the debates going on in Washington between the political parties and feels like we're at our best, okay? No one feels great about it. I feel like we're ill, like a loved one is ill, the country we love is ill, and we're just not working towards like that combined practical end. Facing down existential threats is never easy. Luckily, we're the United States of America, and we know how to do hard things. We are not scared of hard work, and we are not scared of working through problems. And that's where IBEW has a real role to play. Your organization was literally born in 1891 because folks working on the line or in electrification were literally getting killed at 1 to 2 workers a week. You were one of the deadliest jobs in America at the time. And you made possible this revolutionary idea that you could be the guy lighting up a home and afford to buy that home. You laid the telephone lines that connected America. You helped turn the lights on in every corner of rural America, lighting literally the nation from darkness. You helped us win world wars, powering the arsenal of democracy, taking up arms for freedom. And just a few weeks ago, you launched America into a new frontier Local 756 out of Daytona Beach helped send Artemis II further from Earth than any human being has ever gone. Yeah, it's awesome. I needed that Artemis II. I needed some positivity. This is the spirit of America. We do hard things and we know how to get things done. We are a nation that knows how to prevail. We do the impossible. We always rise. There is nothing we can't do when we work together. So I refuse to believe that the drama that's going on in Washington is a permanent state of affairs. I refuse to believe that we feel like we're on our heels and we aren't going to be the powerhouse of the future and our kids aren't going to have the keys to that good life. I refuse to believe it. We are going to get through that with people like you, engaged citizens who do more than you're used to doing because you know your country's at stake. And for my part, I will do everything in my power to be one of those principled leaders that you deserve. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do for your community and for your country. And please, come on, let's eat them up. Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks.